Yo, my mom, we went to the store. My mom bought us the Superman 64 game. We also use religious exemptions to
Oh my God.
Damn, Jehovah's Witnesses do not approve of Superman.
It's violent. It's violent.
Purchases. Talking about purchases. What's the worst purchase you guys spent? Or what's the worst purchase you guys got or purchased? And
what is the worst thing we've ever spent money on?
Yeah,
Is that the question?
I was having a super brain fart. And what's the best thing you guys have ever purchased? We'll go around the room, I guess. Pooch. Go with you.
Why don't we start with you, Tony? Because I didn't think about this.
All right.
Yeah, I need to think as well.
Wait. You came up
My
with this
worst
topic
purchase.
and you
No,
don't
I
even have
got it, but I
ideas?
wanted to save mine. So my worst purchase ever was a fucking. It was a thing that held like books, like you can like have a whole bunch of books stored on. It wasn't a fucking thing that you have, not that little book reader. It was something else. I got that, and I don't even read books. Why the fuck would I buy something that I don't even like do on a normal basis, right? It was back in school when you had that fucking scholastics or whatever, whatever the
That
fuck
shit
it
was lit. The
Shit was
Scholastic
lit.
Fair.
I started reading Goosebumps. That's the books I was reading, right? And then they're like, oh, if you get this, you can have a whole bunch of books. And I'm all right, cool. Bitch, I never even touched that shit. Never even went back to reading a book ever again. Like, to me, that was the worst purchase. Even though that's, significantly good for you guys to do is to fucking read, right?
Reading is fundamental, y'all.
Yeah, I said that was the worst purchase for me ever. The worst. But my best fucking purchase, I'm talking about the best purchase I ever did, was getting the online adapter for my fucking PlayStation so I could play fucking SOCOM online. That fucking piece that you hooked up the internet to fucking play, that was my best purchase.
Wait, the game that made your dad think that you guys were being raided by the SWAT team is the best purchase.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Bro, because that's when online became a thing, right? Like, it was like, oh, you get to play with people and you get to chat with these randos. That shit opened my whole mind. Like, I don't know how many other people across the states fucking.
I don't even slightly enjoy chatting with random people in games anymore, dude. They detract from my experience in games now.
Not now, but back then when it was a new thing, like everybody was doing it. Anybody who had the games are doing it.
There was a novelty to just like the fact that you were yelling and screaming at somebody that was like in another state. Like
another country.
Right, maybe in another country. Like that idea was so fucking crazy to me.
That's what started the toxic fucking online shit. That's what started. That people were online gangsters. They can get away with telling people N-bombs and this and that and not have to worry about it. Because if you was down the street from Buddy, you ain't dropping those N-bombs. Niggas gonna knock on your door. Like, yo, what were you saying? Bow. Locked out. Sleep. Night. But yeah, those are my best and worst purchases.
If you need more time, Pooch, I can go next.
Yeah, please, because I don't have it. I've only made.
I already have two for you.
Good
You don't
decisions.
even know it.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
My worst purchase of all time was my 97 Honda Civic. Because that car was a fucking death trap. Had bald tires. The brakes would just sometimes go out. The AC died, and the car started overheating, so I had to run the AC or the heater all the time to keep it from dying. Then all the windows died, the motors in them, so they wouldn't roll down anymore. So it was 105 degrees in Texas. I'm rolling down the highway running the heater so my car doesn't stall out and die.
Bro, that's hilarious. Bro, but Honda Civics are so cheap to fix. They're the cheapest thing to fix.
That's what they claimed, but I think that it had an overheating issue and the head had gotten warped. So I needed a full fucking head to get that car working again. I was broke. I did not have the money to put into that car. Barely had the money to buy the car in the first place.
You had to change your clothes in the car, so that way when you get to places.
I went everywhere with a change of clothing. Everywhere. If I could get a shower or two when I arrived somewhere, even better. But I at least went with a change of clothing and some deodorant.
Damn, man. Those are poor times for real.
It's like the one time We went on vacation, and I had to ride with Cisco, and he had no AC, and we got stuck in traffic. Yo, that was the longest hour of my life. Bro, I was sweating.
I've been there.
We had a lot of marijuana, but I was sweating.
I've been there. My Bertha didn't have AC. Remember that shit though?
Yeah.
Bertha didn't have AC. It's like a Florida thing.
The
Like
car that you would almost intentionally crash into other cars while you were driving it.
only when you were in the passenger seat. It was funny. Watch you get all fucking spooked out. Yo, this little screamy shit, man. I love my Expedition. That bitch went through everything. Loved it. What was your best purchase, Mateo?
Best purchase. This guitar, $20. This is one of my favorite guitars in the world. It's some brand, it's some like Yamaha little tiny like classic guitar. But I've had this thing for years and it's one of my favorite.
That fucks
Yeah,
with
$20 for years of entertainment. I haven't made a better purchase. The closest would be maybe my PS3 or something because I got some mileage out of my PS3.
Really? Don't they tell you how many hours you've logged on in your Isn't there a website for that?
There might be.
I'd be curious to see what our hours would be logged on to that shit. It's crazy.
Yeah, the PlayStation 5 now, there's some weird menu you could get into and it'll show you your play times on pretty much any game that you've played. And Sony has been keeping track of it. So they know how long you were playing games on your PS3 if it was like hooked up to the internet and shit. So there's games from back then that if you look at it on your PS5, you can see how many hours you played.
I've probably got like a couple hundred hours alone just in GTA Online for my PS3 days.
Dude, SOCOM, I probably got tens of thousands of hours on that shit, bro.
Thousands of hours.
Bro, I used to be that kid that printed up the maps of each level and had my platoon and just map all the attack points. Bro, I had like all the maps and shit dotted out. I was a kid, bro. I had nothing else to do. At the time, I wasn't thinking about getting ass or getting drunk with my boys or whatever the fuck. I was just playing fucking video games. So yeah. Anyways. Doug, you got something? I think Pucho needs more time.
I just want to say, if it was exactly 10,000 hours, that's 416 days worth of playtime. And that's 24 hours a day. So it's like, let's say you had 8 hours a day to play a game. Like this would be like 4 years of playing a game every single day for 8 hours a day in order to hit these playtimes. Tony's talking about 10,000 hours. Sounds a little intense. If you've been playing SOCOM that much, you're a dick.
Damn.
I said it.
I think like the only game I probably played that much was Counter-Strike. I played that for several years straight.
Really?
Yeah, I would say like 5 or 6 years straight.
Damn.
I'd also say you're a dick. Although Counter-Strike makes sense. Like I remember E used to play 1.6 in the year like 2010. Like this is like after Source came out. So it's like they're working on Global Offensive and shit, and he's still playing like the old version of Counter-Strike. So I mean, there were a bunch of people in those games. So like we used to play with people.
You
so,
could
like,
say that there was a variety of gameplays.
Real quick. Where is this you can say shit coming from? Because ever since I mentioned some would say, now you got this whole you can say shit. Like, oh, what's going on here?
What do you mean since you invented?
I brought that to this group.
He claimed ownership in our last episode is what happened.
I brought that, like some would say, and that was always a joking. It was a joke thing. Like I would say, like some would say, Doughboy likes to play with his shit all night long. Right? That's a lie. Right? I just say that because I'm going to tell you a lie. Every time I say some would say, there's a 90% chance it's a fucking lie. Whatever the fuck I'm going to say. But now this guy's trying to take over. Some would say to you can say. I don't like that shit. Don't like it.
So
well, go
you
ahead,
can't
though.
claim what I say.
Go ahead, though. What did you buy? What is it?
So basically, my biggest regret, anything I ever bought any ex-girlfriend of mine ever. I want it back. I want it back.
You're an Indian giver.
I don't want that. And if I could not buy that for you, I would have definitely not bought it for you now, okay? All that shit, bad idea. Worst purchase all time.
I'm gonna do you on that one. I bought an ex-girlfriend of mine a pair of shoes, and then we had a pretty toxic breakup. And then my aunt, I guess I was in the living room talking about this shit. It's one of my rare moments where I mention anything like this. And I'm like, man, fuck her, fuck this, fuck that. She's a piece of shit. And I fucking wasted money on those goddamn shoes. And then my aunt hit me with, because my aunt is mad superstitious. She was like, you never buy a woman's shoes. If you buy a woman's shoes, she walks right out of your life.
That's fucking funny.
Pissed me off.
That's fucking funny, bro.
Oh man. But you know what? I've had like thinking about it, like as growing up kind of poor, your decisions that you have to make sometimes are like so like important that you learn not to fuck up. Like, so I had a couple of games that I bought that were like big shitty, just really terrible. so like, yo, I would go out of my way to try to return these, but the Chinese lady I bought them from, she wasn't having it anymore. She's like, you return way too many games. So I brought my mom in there and we used our religious exemption, our Jehovah's Witness.
Oh my god!
What?
This lady said, it was, my mom was just like, it's our religion and we can't have this in the house. This is crazy shit.
You brought your mom to fucking throw religion?
Yeah. So yeah, she was like, yeah, I'm gonna return this for you. She's like, I never want you to come back here.
Zoe's like, fuck it, I got a dub. I'm taking this money. We're going to Funko Land next.
Yeah.
Fuck this old.
That's insane.
So I have stuff like that, like watching a movie that's terrible, like wasted money going to the movies to watch a terrible movie, stuff like that.
What's your best purchase?
Best purchases are a lot easier. That's like we can start to
We need the number one.
Yeah, you're number one, not 10.
I have a guess for it though.
I do too.
I have two. I don't know which one's more important. I could use the one now and the one from before. I think the one that people don't know about is I got turntables when I was like 13, 14 years old. And turntables really changed my life. Getting into music and DJing and all that stuff, like that was a real big gift. I don't think I don't know where I would be without the music and shit like that, DJing and all that shit. I really appreciate it. It's a big part of my life, and it'll be a big part of my life forever.
That's what I was gonna say. That your turntables is definitely
My bike is a close second. Like,
oh, that's fair.
Oh yeah, that's right.
My bike is a real close second. Like, it's one of the best things that I've ever done next to DJing.
Those are good. I like those.
I was gonna say, when I met Doey when we were in 8th grade, he wouldn't go anywhere without his CD player. So he always had a CD player on him, and he had CDs and shit. And I would say a very important item in Doey's life was when he got the Microsoft Zune. So this is an iPod, but like an iPod competitor. It ain't competing with big. This is a big ass flop, but it was actually a pretty good device. And so Doe used to run around with his Zune, and it was his new CD player for many years. I mean, we were graduating high school, and this was like 2009, 2008, 2009, and Doe still had his Zune. It would always be lying around and shit. So I want to give a little shout out for
I fucking love that Zune. I think I had 2 of them. My brother put me onto the Zune. Yeah, I think I bought another one after that.
Damn, that's 2 out of their 500 devices they actually sold in those things.
And then I moved on to Apple, and Apple had my attention. I even had like it looked like an iPhone. It just couldn't call anybody. iPod. I don't know if you knew.
I remember that one.
Yeah. I even have those.
Damn. What
You
about
can
you,
record
Pooch?
videos.
Yeah, that was like the last iPod that came out. Was the iPod that had like apps, but it was just like.
I think you could even message through that thing if you connected
Yeah,
it to Wi-Fi.
if you connect
just
to
couldn't
Wi-Fi,
make
you
phone
can
calls.
message.
But I think you could FaceTime through it, right?
Yes, you could FaceTime through it. Yeah, it's weird. I don't see why you couldn't make calls. Now that I'm looking at it, you could FaceTime, but I guess it was proprietary, their own software.
No. So worst purchase. All right. I already mentioned the shoes. Like Doey said, when you're growing up broke, the decisions you make are of the utmost importance. And any time I was given the opportunity to buy a video game, I failed. I've never bought a good game. Like ever. I don't think like in those moments where I'm spending my mom's money. I remember my mom. Oh my god, she was. I begged her and begged her and begged her and begged her and begged her. I want to buy a game. I want to buy a game. And finally, she takes me to like Walmart or something. And we're in Walmart trying to buy a game. And I don't know what the fuck came over me. I was looking at the games there. And I was like, oh, yeah, boom, 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 boom. I grabbed this N64 game, Batman Beyond.
Oh,
It was not the game to grab, and it was a one that hurt me very much because my mom has only bought me like my entire life, maybe like 5 video games. So like the fact that like I blundered on Batman Beyond, I blundered on also on the N64, I got a Bomberman game. I was trying to get a different Bomberman game, and I got one that I was not too happy with.
Bomberman is an awesome game.
It turned out to still be a pretty good game, but it wasn't the one I wanted. So it just felt like I cheated myself out of something.
You got a tiny L.
And tiny. This was a major L. I won't be able to ask my mom for a new game for like 2 years. And it was terrible, dude. I just felt like the worst. I remember those days I'd come home, try to play those games, and I could only get through like 10 minutes before I just felt like crying. Like I just made a fucking horrible decision.
Damn, dude.
Yo, my mom, we went to the store. My mom bought us the Superman 64 game. We also use religious exemptions to
Oh my god.
Damn, Jehovah's Witnesses do not approve of Superman.
It's violent. It's violent. Okay, it's violent. And in actuality, that game was a heap of shit.
I think that's rated as one of the worst games of all fucking time, right?
So we ended up getting Tony Hawk. Much better game.
That's a better game.
It's a way better choice.
Dude, that game starts off and you're flying through those rings. And you're like, why the fuck is Superman flying through rings? And the timing is so fucking tight. And then when you fucking don't make it in time, it's just game over. And that shit just says Lex wins. You're like, what the fuck does he win? Is this the fucking Olympics? Like, why am I flying through fucking rings? Like, what is this bullshit? Like,
That's fucking crazy.
and the worst is like, I made it to the 3rd board in that game. Like, and then you lose. And then that shit says, Lex wins, and you're back to flying through rings. It was some bullshit.
You had to pick up the car with the fists.
So the best purchase I ever made. There's some obvious ones, like once I, started making my own money, I bought my own PS3, I bought my own PS4, I bought my own PS5, I bought my own PCs, like all this type of shit. It's like those are kind of obvious answers. One that the only good game that I ever bought as a child was Final Fantasy VIII. I had played it at a friend's house and I wanted it. So I convinced my mother to buy it. Right? So I got this game in like 98. I got Bomberman in like almost the year 2000. I got Batman Beyond in like almost 2002. Like, I'm on my 2-year plan, right? So, but my brother was like, no. I got someone. My brother went to Gertz Mall in Jamaica to go get Final Fantasy VIII. And
he flew there just for a game?
no, this was when I lived in Jamaica. he walked to Gertz Mall.
Oh, I thought you was in Florida and he flew to New York just to get you the game.
Wait, you're gonna spend $50 in that game? Let's spend $300 on a plane ticket to get it cheaper.
What's wrong with this guy?
I don't know.
So Jeff went to Gertz Mall and he went to go buy the game. And then the guy at Gertz Mall was like, yo, if you really want to play this game, I could hook you up. Come back tomorrow. So then Jeff came back to the crib empty-handed and was like, yo, I'm going to get the game for you tomorrow. But the guy said, you have to give me your memory card. So then I gave my memory card to my brother. And then the next day he went back to Gertz Mall to go get Final Fantasy VIII. And when he came back with the game and the memory card. And when I popped the memory card in, it already had a save data on there. And when I loaded up the game, I guess the guy must have used like a Game Shark or something. He basically he put it so that like I got 99 of every single item in the game, which was incredible.
Including the cards?
Huh? Yeah, all the cards, all the...
What the fuck? Just ruined the game.
Everything.
That's crazy.
So it allowed me to kind of play through Final Fantasy VIII almost on training wheels because like there's an item in the game that just gets you like an end game like summon, and I was able to spawn this summon called Doom Train on every single boss as I'm like going through the game, and I'm just wrecking everybody. And it was like a cool way to play through the game, but have like almost like training wheels. Because when I was 8 years old, I still wasn't mentally equipped for the junction system. I'm 30, almost 32 years old. I'm still not mentally equipped for the junction system. Okay, I don't really understand it,
dude. I was gonna say he probably gave you the best enjoyable way to play that game because I hated that game because there's so much shit you had to collect because of all those cards, and I got really hooked on the card game, but I was terrible at it, and like that game was not enjoyable for me just because I was too dumb to play that game.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing in that game, and you have 99 of everything. You could use the abilities to refine those items into like all the different magics, and you could have OP characters with maxed out stats, and they'll be like level 5. Like because of the way the junction system works, is like you don't really need to level up these characters in order for them to gain their stats. I still don't really understand it. Like, damn. I know it's like you equip magic to stats, so the stats go up, but I don't really get it.
Yep,
that's crazy.
But you definitely, I thought your best purchase was going to be the bidet. But that's what you was going to say.
That's an excellent purchase. I would say it's probably the best purchase. Like, it gets the most use. My ass has never been cleaner. And my wife uses it. Any multi-purpose item, any item I can use and my wife can use is already hitting the tops, is hitting the pinnacles, you know? My 77-inch TV, one of the best purchases I ever made. All 77 inches of this TV are just phenomenal inches.
And you also got a great, comfortable couch now to enjoy the 77 inch. I just got
a brand new couch. I got brand new light bulbs.
Shit looks amazing.
It's a good purchases.
It's a blue for the Cowboys.
I think my worst video game purchase ever was Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles.
That's for the GameCube, right?
I think it was for SNES. Maybe NES. I think it was either NES or SNES. It was terrible though. It was like everything I liked about the Final Fantasy series done wrong. Like it was on rails. You couldn't actually explore. It was just like you would just move to these points when you were like navigating the dungeons. It was terrible.
I think my worst purchase was Qbert.
Oh, Qbert sucked. Yeah,
that was my worst
for the PlayStation.
Yeah, that shit was terrible.
That game sucked.
That shit was orange little fuck. I don't even know why I bought that shit.
Before we wrap up, all right. I was at work the other day and I received a funny email. This is just a story I was gonna tell Doe earlier, and Doe wanted me to. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna tell on the pod. It's not that great actually, but it was just funny. So like someone pretty high in the company sent an email. It's like email blasted a bunch of the engineers, and he's like, "Hey, I got 2 tickets to go to do something. I don't even remember what it was. It was like to go watch like a game. Yeah, maybe it was like a basketball game or something like that. And it was like, yo, like here, like, you know, whoever just chimes in and could claim them, like boom, you could get your tickets. And that was like kind of the vibe. And then he sent like a follow-up email and he's like, okay, so I got 2 tickets so that you and your friend could join me and my friend.
Oh.
And we could have a fun night out on the town. And I'm like, eso está raro. That's very fucking weird. I'm like, this old man is trying to swing. Like what the fuck's what is he trying to get his ass into? I was like, this is weird. This is really fucking weird.
Well, that's one way to move up the corporate ladder, Pooch.
Yo,
No, I did not respond. I told my wife promptly. I was like, yo, this shit's hilarious.
I was gonna ask when your night on the town was.
No, I didn't do it. I didn't
sounded
take
like
it,
he was
man.
paying.
I'll do it. I'll do that shit. Let's go.
It sounded like it was all expense paid. That's what that shit sounded like.
Facts.
Yeah, but then you got to take the strap on.
Dang.
It's full on. I'm not built for that. Like, I can't even wipe
down,
my ass
I'm
with too
down
much
to take
toilet
a
paper.
hypothetical strap on.
Oh, we've been there.
We're going back to the 2
Dude,
episodes ago.
my ass is not built for that. I can't even wipe my ass with too much toilet paper, or else it hurts. That's why the bidet comes in. Okay, so I can't have objects just going. I ain't built for it, so I can't go to jail. I ain't built for that shit. I'll die. I'll literally die.
Well,
Mucho passed away today. How did he die? He was raped in the anus.
No, it wasn't even that. They told him he was just going to jail and he just died.
yeah, he just fucking died.
I
Just
died of a
dropped.
broken ass. I just couldn't take it. It's the thought of a broken ass gave me a broken heart. I died like Padme Amidala. Okay.
Damn.
Well, on that
Yo,
note. Oh, one more.
wait, before. Always remember Keanu Reeves CBD gummies that help
God.
with anxiety and pain.
Okay, that's another good one. Okay, we're getting into that. So
All right, guys, this is the one up podcast.
So Tony just put in like our friends chat. Boom, yo, did you guys see Keanu Reeves? He's got CBD gummies that help with anxiety and pain. And he posted an article. Mind you, the link, that shit is like a fucking weird link. If you looked at the URL, it was some weird shit.
It was like UK.
It wanted to look like the Google links, like the GOO blah 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 dot GO link.
The boy's fucking died for the audio listeners. He's about to fall out of his chair.
But it wasn't it, all right? It was not it. And one of our, and then when you click into this link with this fucked up URL, it says time at the top of the banner, right? With the red background, the white letters, and they're trying to, jack the Time magazine. And one of our friends, friend of the pod, all right, King Felix, he was on an episode recently. He asks, "Is this shit real?" And Tony's like, "The fuck, of course it's real. It's Time magazine." Like he was so smug about it. And then Dewey went to the site. Mind you, I already knew the shit was fake as fuck. When Tony posted it, I just hit LOL. Like the shit was just funny. Like the fucking article had a typo in the title. Like, Dewey goes to the page and then he clicks the time. Like that's the time. He clicks it, and then that shit takes him to like a fucking e-commerce scammy site to go buy these Keanu Reeves CBD gummies to help with pain and anxiety. Okay. And we're like, all right, this shit is obviously fucking fake. And then when you start scrolling down the fucking page,
See The Rock.
Dwayne Johnson, he's like, yo, I had all these health problems. Then Keanu gave me a bottle of his CBD gummies, and I had massive improvements in my life. Kevin Hart is on
Hart.
here. The Old
All
Spice
these
guy. Like,
Terry Crews.
oh, not Terry Crews. Yeah, the other Old Spice guy.
Oh.
Now, I know who Terry Crews is, but there's another Old Spice guy. Anyways, we
Oh,
got a lot of laughs out of this. This was the fucking laugh of a whole day. This is the day before yesterday. Is all we were talking about was
Tony
this
was
one
tight.
incident. Tony was pissed off.
Because I clicked on the link. I didn't click on the link to go to the actual thing. And when I did, I was like, wow, this is a fucking scam. I tried to disappear from the fucking chat, but you just know disappearing. We're in another whole chat talking about it.
Today I just dropped. Remember the pain and anxiety. Remember Keanu.
Good times. Well, guys, be careful of scam postings and stuff like that. Always protect yourself and your identity. And those gummies are coming. Just give us some time. Coming. But if you stuck around through the whole show, it's a long one today. Spider-Man kind of touched our soft spot in our hearts. But don't forget to hit the subscribe button, to follow, to share with all your people. We're on audio, all audio platforms, all social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Just don't forget to hit the share button and like button and subscribe to our YouTube page. And like always, go one up yourself, guys. Peace.